Welcome back to Two Chairs, One Chat. We are your hosts, Rudolph Thurman and
Terry Cox.
Yes, we are happy to be back. This is season 2, and we would like to thank everybody for sticking around with us, all the support, for anybody that watched our videos, left comments, and we're just happy to be back inside of the studios to do it again. And we have a great topic to jump into today. Today we're going to jump into forgiveness.
And before you do that, I just want to thank God for the opportunity to do this again. There's a lot of things that did happen, but could have been worse within that time that we were away. And we're always going to be grateful for God for keeping us, that we're able to continue doing what He has placed in our heart to do. So
yes, always got to give praise and thanks to God, because without Him, nothing will be possible. So, with that being said, forgiveness is a topic that that we want to jump into today. And when you say forgiveness, there's so many different angles that we can all look at it, right? But going over some notes that Derry and I, put together, forgiveness is letting go of grudges, bitterness. So you could think of times where somebody may have done you wrong, and you're looking at the time span of how long that it may take you to forgive that person for doing you wrong because of how you feel based on the action. The bitterness that a person may hold within themselves because of what may occur, that has to do with, whatever the context of what the situation, is. So also we would say that when someone you care about hurts you, you can hold on to anger, resentment, and thoughts of revenge, or embrace forgiveness and move forward. So there's options when it comes to when someone hurts you, right? So ask yourself, what is it like when someone hurts you and you just hold on to anger? How is it that you feel within yourself when you're holding the anger for a certain period of time? Sometimes even through the hurt, when you're still angry, that person that you're upset about, sometimes they may not even remember what may have happened, depending on how much time may have passed. But you got to ask yourself, you got to say to yourself, if I get to a place where I can let it go, yes, I acknowledge what may have taken place, how would I feel inside? Because sometimes the anger, the resentment that you have towards someone for hurting you can even stop you from moving forward. So I know there's many situations where you could be in a good mood and you're going down the street and you haven't seen the person in a long time. You're in a good mood, you're trying to start your day fine, and you see this person. They're not thinking about anything, and you just get a flashback of what it was like when they said what they said, when they did what they did. And even though you started your day good, now you're just upset because it's just a reminder of what that person did. Mm-hmm. You have any situations or
well, there's lots
life?
of things I could talk about, but I also want to say, if you don't mind, reading what is forgiveness, so we kind of take it from there, to see, people have their own meaning of what
yeah.
definition of what forgiveness is, and so we can get that whole picture of what really is forgiveness.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, like,
Yeah, no,
we
I
can,
definitely don't mind. So forgiveness means different things to different people, right? So generally, however, it involves a decision to let go of resentment and thoughts of revenge. The act that hurts or offended you might always be with you, but forgiveness can lessen its grip on you and help free you from the control of the person who harmed you. Forgiveness can even lead to feelings of understanding, empathy, and compassion for the one who hurt you.
Right. So that's kind of like, for example, I would say, for me, I've grown in that place where I forgive myself. If I know that I've done something wrong to someone, I will start with me. And forgiving myself, like recognizing my actions, what I have done to harm someone or hurt someone's feelings or whatever it is. I kind of like look within and said, yeah, you were wrong, right? I was wrong. And that's why I always like to say this thing is, people say, forgive me, I'm sorry. And I always say, think before you have to ask for forgiveness. Think before you actually say, I am sorry for something, right? That's where thinking about your actions first, right? Don't react on certain things. Words will come out of your mouth that you really don't mean, that you regret, and then you have to say, I apologize. It's the time for you to like stop and think about what you're saying before you say it. And like I was saying to you, in situations I've learned to forgive, I have to forgive. I start with me. Forgive myself for actually hurting someone else's feeling or hurting, in any sort of way. And when I start with me, then I'm looking at the other person. Yeah, I was wrong. And I'm never too high or big to say I'm sorry to someone.
Yeah.
I'm always going to say I'm sorry. And when I recognize that I've done something wrong, there's a few examples I can give about me asking someone for forgiveness and realizing that even though that person, one instance where they said, I do forgive you. 3 years later, we're still talking about it. Or it comes up again, and I'm like, but you said you forgive me. That's why you don't, when you're angry or when you're in a place, it's good for you to say, listen, you have hurt me. I feel some type of way about what you did to me. Give me some time. Because what you did was really not something that, you really hurt me. So now I'm going to need time to get myself together, to process what you have done to me. And before I say something that, will affect you or hurt you the way that you hurt me, let me just step back for a minute and reflect on that. So I think that it's good for us to do that in any situation, because words have power. Yeah. And we have to be careful what we say to people and how we say it. And so that's how I look at how you can actually forgive someone. Yeah. And like I said, when that person was like, but I'm looking back, what we went through, and I'm saying, well, you're still there. And sometimes we want to push forward, right? And we don't have that they take that time. But for me, 3 years is a long time. If you haven't had time to think about forgiving me, then what's happening? You're holding on to grudges. You're holding on to that grudge of whatever it is that I did, right? And so I had to end up telling them, you're going to need to go and settle that with yourself. Yeah. Because as much as I love you, I don't want you in my space where you're still holding on to something that you feel that I did that was wrong. And yes, I did apologize. I'll apologize a million times. But if you're still stuck there, the relationship can't really move forward. It can,
you're nailing it with everything that you're saying. I strongly agree with the part where you're saying to take the time, right? Taking the time to make it right within yourself. And so you could be at a place where you could forgive somebody, because, just to piggyback on what you were saying, like with that, it's like nobody wants to feel like, yeah. no,
Go ahead.
nobody wants to feel like they are being put like in some kind of like position where it's like somebody else is in control of the movements between you and them. Because if you're saying that you're sorry, right, but you bringing up stuff in conversations or in arguments, like you can't bring it up in arguments, because to truly forgive somebody is not to constantly just keep reminding them of their wrongs. Because if you really want that person to be better, how can they grow if they just keep getting reminded of something that maybe the both of you may have said? If two people agreed to forgive, somebody, to forgive, and you use that moment in an argument to keep reminding them of what they did, you can never grow.
Right.
You can never get past it, regardless of what anybody says. You will always have that hovering over you, and that's not what forgiveness is about.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people don't understand what it truly means to forgive someone. It's not like you wouldn't forget, but there's a decision. I mean, we can go through a lot of things and talk about a lot of things.
Yeah, I got some stuff here highlighted about what forgiveness doesn't mean.
Right. Well, you want to share that.
Of course. Yeah, so forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or excusing the harm done to you or making up with the person who caused the harm. Forgiveness brings a kind of peace, right, that helps you go on with life. Now, what are the benefits of forgiving someone? Okay. Letting go of grudges and bitterness, like we was talking about before, can make way for improved health and peace of mind. I know I want peace of mind.
Yeah.
You like peace of mind?
Everybody wants peace of mind.
I will hope so.
Yeah.
So,
well, I would hope so, but then some people are just kind of lost. I'm just sorry, but we always talk about being open and honest.
Yes, all the time
on this podcast, and I think sometimes maybe my words will be a little bit too a little, not crazy to say, but I always like to keep it real. I'm not the one to sugarcoat things. I do respect other people's feelings, but I think we're so covered that we don't bear it all. We don't share our actual feelings.
Right.
We sugarcoat stuff to make other people feel better. I don't like that.
Like
I tell all my friends, don't sugarcoat anything to make me feel better.
Tell me how it is.
Tell me straight up how it is. It's either I accept what you're saying and I say, you're right, or I said, no, I'm not sure why you think that or why you feel that way. But I try to understand where someone else is coming from, especially when it comes, they're telling me about myself. And I'm like, no, that's not the case, but I'll tell you why I think you might think that way, or whatever it is, So I said sometimes we sugarcoat things, and so I don't want to stray away from what we're talking about. So I'm gonna let you go back in there.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, you had it. Like, it's all underneath, like, like the same thing, like with forgiveness, because I feel like it's just like it's an umbrella with different stuff like underneath it. So those are also great examples that you was talking about, because you want a person to be straight up with you. You want a person to be honest with you. You don't want to have any kind of like relationship, friendship, or whatever where where someone is just playing it too safe, being too cool, just to be on your good side.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, we have to respect each other's feelings.
Yeah.
But we also have, I think, honesty.
Yeah.
Is the best thing, the best way to be. Like, why am I gonna sugarcoat something? Or even if you having a hard time, since we're talking about forgiveness, you having a hard time forgiving someone because maybe they surprised you at their actions, or you never expected them to do that. You can say that. It's okay for you to say, listen, bro, like, you hurt my feelings. I don't like what you did there. It's gonna, like I was talking earlier, it's gonna take some time for me to get forgive you for that.
Mm-hmm.
And we can look at it spiritually, if we want
Yeah.
to, and say, well, God forgives us, or where we have such a heart. But, that's how the humans are. That's how we are.
Right.
And for me, I can say that while I don't forget, if I am extremely close to someone, I'm a very forgiving person.
Mm-hmm.
I think I am more of course, I think more people, well, for me, I only speak for myself, are more forgiving when they're close to other people,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I'm like, all right, you mess up. I know that you care about me. I know that you love me. But in certain situations, I'm not really going to be easy to forgive. Because,
right.
especially if we're not touching on the relationship aspect of forgiveness today.
Right.
Because we're not trying to get into that little box there that we only talk about relationships and forgiveness. There's friendship that get messed up because people overstep, or they took you for granted, the friendship and the relationship for granted. And so
people taking advantage of you.
Yeah, they just did whatever, and they expect you to be forgiving, and while we should be forgiving, there's certain things that we really have to take into account and pay attention to, and step back from, and say, all right, is this relationship worth saving? Is this friendship worth saving? For the sake of that, like,
strong points.
All right, so you did this to me. I've known you for such a long time. Is it time for this season to be over of this friendship? Because we have to understand that friendships come with seasons as well.
Correct.
You may know people for like 10, 15 years, and that 15 years, it's time to go. It's not making, and we need to be fruitful. Right? And to be honest and open and be fruitful. We don't want people lagging. We can spend a long time with people, but if they're not impacting our lives anyway, in a positive way, then at some point we've really got to say, okay, time's up. And not because we don't love them, it's because I'm here for a purpose. Right? I'm not pushing you to the side because I think that I'm better than you at this point of my life.
Right.
What I'm doing right now is making room to grow for myself. You're not growing with me. I've known you for 5-10 years, and you're still on that same level. No matter what we talk about, or you may be a gossiper, and I don't do gossiping anymore because that's not in the picture. That's not in my future. I'm cutting you off. And I think sometimes people take that as you're thinking that you're better. Right?
I know exactly what you mean.
And that's not really what it is. It's time to go.
Listen, it's you nailed it again. Like it's seasons, and unfortunately, some people will realize that's what the case is. Like with some of them, it's just seasons, and but you said a lot of interesting things. So with the part where you mentioned about people thinking that you think that you're better, so it's not that. Like, let's say someone said it to like you, or said it to me, like, oh, you guys think you're better, and it's not that anybody thinks that they're better. It's that where I am going, I'm not trying to have you hold me back, right? Because regardless of if you knew me to be in a certain place at a certain time in your life, that doesn't mean that's where I should stay, because you don't know how to move, right?
And sometimes it's not even about I'm not allowing you to hold me back. Is that you can't go with me where I'm going.
Oh, yes.
And that doesn't mean I don't care about you or care about what you're doing in your life. I pray all the happiness and the best thing for people, but sometimes they are not allowed to actually move because, remember, each of us came with a purpose. Every single last one of us has our own purpose,
walk
here, and our own walk. You may walk from here to Manhattan Bridge with me, and that's where you get off.
That's right. That's your stop.
That's your stop. Bye. And there's somebody else that's going to walk with you further than I did. You know what I'm saying? And it's not, I think that people get so caught up in that, like, oh, you left me. No, actually, you left yourself behind.
Right.
And the fact that I still serve a God, I'm always going to talk about God. A God
all
that showed me somewhere, and he was like, some people cannot go with you where I'm taking you. And I do apologize for the people that think that they got left behind, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Like, I'm not sure if I should apologize for God taking me to where He actually created me to be.
Don't apologize.
Because I'm sure these same people, if they know the God that I'm talking about, and He start to show them why He created them, and they truly believe and trust in Him, they wouldn't for 1 second think about where I'm going to be. Fair is fair.
Yeah.
It's the same thing for me. If, as we do this podcast, in a year from now,
right,
Mr. Rudolph Turman here, you decide that, or another door open up for you.
Right.
You say, you know what? This is what I got on my plate now, and I want to do this. I'm not going to say to you, why you got to leave. No.
Right.
You have to serve your purpose.
Yeah.
It's the same thing for me, and I expect the same result from you.
Right.
Is that we all have our own individual walks, and we shouldn't have to ask for forgiveness for that either. Right.
And I think that's where communication comes into play.
Yeah.
Also, right? And if you bringing that up, for example, I can say, because of the communication that me and you have, like, these are all things that we talk about, right? We talk about, the now, we talk about, the future, and we talk about, like, other ventures. And if you truly care for somebody, and you truly love that person, you respect their walk. You respect if they're called to go and do, something else. And it doesn't mean that there has to be an issue between you and them, right? Because you can still support them with what they're doing, right?
Of course.
So it's like, I think sometimes, when people see certain things, come to an end, they equate it to a problem.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a problem. It only becomes a problem when a person that doesn't know how to elevate their mind to a higher place, that's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
So I want to jump into what forgiveness can lead to, right? So forgiveness can lead to healthier relationships, right? It can lead to improved mental health, less anxiety, stress and hostility, lower blood pressure, fewer symptoms of depression, a stronger immune system, improved heart health, improved self-esteem. All right, so let's take it from the top. Healthier relationships. There's nothing more better than feeling that you are, and knowing that you are around someone that you can call a friend, but not only just a friend, that that it's a healthy relationship. Because let's be honest, there are healthy relationships out here, and there are relationships that are very unhealthy. And I think sometimes either people, they just lie to themselves about which one is which, or people just have a tolerance for toxic stuff, pain, or stuff like that. I know me, I know you, I know we like peace.
Yeah. Peace. And it's also, we don't sit and gossip about you. That's also having a healthy friendship, right? Where it's more of progression. It's more of what is the next. We share things as what we're doing. If you have your ventures that are coming up, your acting and your poetry and your music and stuff like that, and I have my own thing that I'm doing, and those are the things that I love. And I love to stay focused on. My passion is always helping other people. So you have to know the kind of environment you want, what kind of people you want to have around you.
Right.
You can have fun, you can go out to dinner, you can have your laughs and stuff. That doesn't take away from anything. But when it comes to like sitting down and constantly gossiping or talking about all kinds of stuff that is not important
Right.
to like your elevation or your peace of mind, it doesn't benefit you one way or the other, right?
Not at
and
all.
you have to get rid of all that stuff. And like I said, it's not like you thinking that you're better than anybody else, but it's just that, and especially when you reach a certain age. For me, I'm 40. I'm not going to tell you 40 what, but it's comes with maturity.
Right.
You know, after one time, it's the next. You're in your 20s, you're in your 30s,
Yeah.
you're in your 40s, your 50s, whatever. You know, the age goes
Yeah,
up,
all
and then
different
you kind
stages.
of like. There is a limit to certain things. There's a limit to conversation. If certain people are going to have the same conversations for 20, 30 years, and it's like,
Isn't that something?
what are we really talking about? You know, and not to stray off on the topic of forgiveness.
right.
We're going right back to that.
Mm-hmm.
It eats at you when you don't forgive someone. Right? You're like bearing that burden and you're upset, and then you may see the person living happily. Like they're like, what? Who last year? 2 years ago, and you're still mad at me?
You're still mad.
And you're carrying that. It's like a knot inside of you.
Yeah.
And even that, it may affect other relationships around you.
Yeah.
You may think that everybody is that way. You know, everybody will treat you like that person or will do what that person did, and then you carry that baggage. Like I said, forgiveness starts with you.
Yeah.
And then to the other person. You have to be able to let things go.
Yeah.
You may not forget. We don't forget things that
No,
easily.
because it
but you
occurred.
have to forgive, right?
Yeah.
As much as the same way as you want to be forgiven, because
Right.
nobody has that perfection.
Yeah.
No, not
Speak
one.
on it.
Right? Nobody's perfect. And so we all know that. We all know that nobody is perfect. And we have to be able to understand that we may mess up.
Yeah.
At some point in our lives, and we may want someone to forgive us. See how that feels if you don't
Right.
get that forgiveness,
Of
if you
course.
ask for it.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes people have to actually experience things
Right.
to understand it. And we really don't hope that, you know, people have to go through that, but it's a part of life. You know, so we have to be open-minded and learn to forgive others just as we want to be forgiven.
Exactly. Another thing on the list, but that forgiveness can lead to, that I mentioned, is improved mental health. If you are holding a grudge, a resentment, just think about where your mental state is at, right? There's no way that you can have a peace of mind just thinking about all of these different situations of people that you're not forgiving. Some people have layers of people that they're not forgiving. There's no way that you can have you could be in a great place, like mentally. Mm-hmm. So when you're not in a great place mentally, who is that affecting? Those layers of people? Or is it affecting you? So how much do you really care about yourself? How much do you really care about your mental health? Now, if I know I want to be here, if I know I need a peace of mind, I'm going to make sure by any means necessary I get a peace of mind.
Or release all that stuff to God, man.
Yeah.
Like, let it go, man. Release it all. You deserve a peace of mind. I understand that people mess up.
Yeah.
You know, friendships, family members, whoever, and everybody and their mother. But you have to let all of that go.
Let it go.
You know, just free yourself from it. I can tell you, I was a person that could hold a grudge.
Oh, yeah.
I used to be that way.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, for years. And then that stuff eats at you.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of things also where you see certain people and their actions, and then you kind of hold this thing to them, and you say, I'm not really messing with you, or it kind of gets into your spirit and your soul where you're like enveloping all of that. That's so bad for you.
Yeah.
That feeling of this one is doing that and this one is not doing this, and you have that thing. And, you know, for me, I'm grateful that God taps me when, at times and say, hello, focus,
Right.
and he has his way of reeling me back into where he needs me to go, where he needs me to be. And I'm grateful for that. So the advice that I would give to people who are unforgiving, or years would go on and you're still not forgiving that person, that parent, that father, that mother, that daughter, that son, that friend, that spouse, whoever,
Mm-hmm.
you have got to let yourself free. Be free. Take back your peace. Take back your peace. Love on you. And you can't love on you if you're holding grudges and you have unforgiveness in your heart. It's not going to work
It's
for
not.
you. You're going to continue to be miserable. A very unhappy person.
Yeah. And why do that to yourself?
Yeah. You can fuss all you want when somebody, upset.
Right.
Like somebody betray your trust and you're like, yeah, you're okay.
Yeah.
We get that.
Right.
Forgive the fact that, you forgive yourself first. Sometimes we have to forgive ourselves for a reaction to that action that was just portrayed in front of us, right?
Yes.
We start there. And we say, you know what? I may not want to have anything to do with you. You know what I'm saying? I may not want to have anything to do with you. But I'm going to have to forgive you. Because first, I myself need forgiveness. And second of all, you deserve to have forgiveness too.
Yeah.
And so we can take it from there. And take back your peace. You got to take back your peace. You don't let people suffocate you or let people let you remain angry for their actions. Like, what?
Some people make you like feel a certain way, like, forever. Like they hold like something over you for like a lifetime.
Well, they're going to go sit over there in the corner by themselves.
Yeah.
Because we're not about to do, I'm not the person.
Yeah.
I'm not the one.
Yeah, I can say that kind of stuff don't work with me anymore.
Well, I'm glad with the anymore. Because
there was times that it did. Like I could be honest. Like there was times that it did because of my personality, caring heart, but it's like when you wisen up, you realize that certain things just don't work anymore. Yeah. And when you wisen up and certain things don't work anymore, the dynamics now change because some of the things that people used to be able to do, they can't do. They don't have that access like anymore. And now they're getting frustrated. Like you did something wrong. No. So
you forgive yourself and you forgive them and you move on.
Yeah.
We just have to be able to do that. I know sometimes some things are hard to forgive, and it takes some time. It's a process.
Yeah, it's definitely a process because we've been there. Yeah, we've been there. We both said that we both had examples, in times in our lives where it's like it was hard for us to forgive things that people may have done. But we're two people sitting here today and said that like how we used to be like with certain situations, that's not how we are today. So if we can turn stuff around, I believe, and I know you believe, that other people can turn it around.
They definitely can. It's amazing sometimes. I think that maybe I'm just one of those weird people, but weird in a way that even the people that have really, really harmed me, I was still willing to give them a second chance and stuff.
Yeah.
And but that plays into the part where I would say that I love myself enough to at that point. But now I know that somebody does something like that to me ever, it's a chain reaction with a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
But forgiveness is good for the soul.
It's great for the soul.
Forgiveness is good to teach our children to be forgiving. It's good to remind ourselves about what truly forgiveness is about. we're not going to let people take advantage of us.
Not at all.
You know, but we understand that people have their moments, and sometimes even the words that come out of their mouth, you know, it really stings at our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
And it leaves that scars on us, and then we have to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of look at people differently, you know,
Right.
when they use certain words against us. But because of love, we're able to forgive. And it's like a whole root. It's all these parts: forgiveness and heart and hurt and love and anger, which we will touch on
Yes,
a
we
little
will.
later. But love gives us that ability to forgive others. You know, and at the end of the day, we all need love, and we all need to know how universal and how huge that word love is. With the love that we have in our heart, we're able to forgive. We're able to understand that we need to ask for forgiveness, and we need to also give people time to forgive us. But like, there is a limit to how long we're going to have them pulling at us and toying at us.
Of course.
Because you're not allowed to have an effect on somebody's mental ability to move forward.
No, you can't.
You're not going to be that, like, you have a string and you're
Right.
just like, yeah, I'm going to keep telling you how, you know, how you messed up. Like, you're going to stay over there on your own, or you're going to deal with that and get back to me when you need to,
Right.
or when the time is right.
There's definitely a limitation,
Yeah.
you know, to that. And you know, even with forgiveness, there should be in there accountability.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you have some people who won't. One of the reasons why they won't accept forgiveness is because words just won't do it alone. It's change behavior.
But of course.
You know, so it's
you know, of
like,
course.
yeah,
That's a big part
like,
of that.
how long can you keep saying sorry? And it's like,
yeah, not change your ways, or
right.
you know. But then some people drag it.
Yeah.
Be dragging.
They be dragging it.
Yeah. I mean, in a relationship sense, right?
Right.
Like, if you do something that affects your partner or your spouse or whatever, and you say, I'm sorry, change behavior is the best example of you being sorry, or you truly meaning when you say, please forget, when you ask for forgiveness.
Right.
Then it ties into your behavior.
Right.
How you do things and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I also want us to touch upon why is it so easy to hold a grudge, right? So, saying being hurt by someone, particularly someone you love and trust, can cause anger, sadness, confusion. If you dwell on hurtful events or situations, grudges filled with resentment, vengeance, and hostility can take root. If you allow negative feelings to crowd out positive feelings, you might find yourself swallowed up by your own bitterness or sense of injustice. All right, so there's no need to seek any kind of revenge on anybody because they did something wrong to you. Like, that won't change what occurred initially, right? We all have choices. You know, that's one of the things that when we have our conversation, that's one of the words that you use a lot. Choices. And I love when you use that, right? Mm-hmm. Because we all do have choices, right? But you also have to know with choices, there's consequences.
Yeah.
Right? We cannot be blind to consequences. So if you're driving, right? If you're driving and, you know, there's people who have road rage and somebody upsets you and they cut you off, you have choices, right? I'm going to speed up. I'm going to cut that person back off, or I'm going to jump out the car and I'm going to do something. or I'm just gonna just leave it alone and just let that person just go. Now, for the examples that I used before about you following somebody, jumping out the car, consequence to the extreme, it could possibly cost you your life. Right? So that's why consequences is something that you have to understand, right? You're driving, that person is a stranger. Forgive that action that person done took, because don't let that action that person took that you don't even know cost you everything, right? Because what are you gaining by taking the same action that upset you, right? Does that make you any better than the person that did what they did to you?
I mean, I gotta forgive the person that cut me off?
Yeah.
In the middle,
Yeah. You don't know them. You don't know them. I get upset too, right? I'm not gonna say here and say.
Miss Daisy, I'm driving Miss Daisy.
Right? I get upset too, because it's like, but I get more upset at thinking about how a person can, when they're driving like all erratic, how you can not only just endanger me, endanger other people around you, so that is upsetting, right? So innocent people could be doing the right thing, and then somebody just does something, and now someone else has to pay for it, right? So let's be clear. Forgiveness takes a lot of strength. This is no easy thing. This is not something that I can even say that I haven't mastered. But have I grown from where I was? Like when it comes to forgiveness? Yes. Right? But I think the message will be like, right? I think the message will be like, at least take the walk.
Yeah.
Right? At least take the walk towards that direction. If you don't take the walk towards forgiveness and you just stay in the same place, how can you grow?
Yeah. Don't let someone don't hold on to grudges and stuff like that with people in your heart. It weighs you down. You deserve to just live, with a peace of mind. And we have to understand that people going people.
People going people.
And people, we tend to do crazy things at times. And we have to learn to either we forgive them or we move on. If it's in danger to our life, if it's danger to our life, then we have to remove ourselves from them. We forgive, we move on. We wouldn't forget, but that person needs to go over there and be away from you, especially if they're harming you. Because somebody might slap you and you don't deserve a slap when it comes to like relationships and stuff like that. And nobody should be putting their hands on you, but sometimes these things tend to happen.
Right.
And then they look for, like you said, talk about change behavior. You apologize and you say you're sorry. But for me, the minute you knock me once, where's the door at? As much as I love you, I think for you to build yourself up to hit someone, doesn't matter what they're saying to you.
Yeah. That's different.
You have crossed an entire different line.
Yeah, that's a different line right there.
I know sometimes we say that it's not easy. We're going to have to pray about it. We're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because it only starts one time.
Yeah. And then it becomes
and then it elevates.
Effect. Yeah.
They're going to say sorry again, and then you're going to forgive them again.
Right.
They might bring you roses and chocolate and all the other extra stuff. And then
stuff
you're
to
like,
distract it. Not realizing that there's a pattern.
So be careful with also knowing that you can forgive others for hurting you. But we're not talking about this all other abuse thing
the
where
physical part. You're
like, all right, I'm going to forgive him or I'm going to forgive her, because women do put their hands on men too.
Right.
Like, we're going to forgive him or I'm going to forgive her. And then it keeps escalating. Be careful. Be very, very careful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No. Take care of yourselves.
Yep.
We're about to wrap up this one.
Yeah. So, you know, I just want to say, before we wrap it up,
Mm-hmm.
I want to touch like on the last part on here, about what does forgiveness mean at the end. Does it mean reconciliation? Does it mean restoration? Because you may let go of something, but do you bring it back to the original state that you and the person may have it, that may have had it before? Now, here's the thing. Everybody's definition of forgiveness is different, right? Does it mean that the person does not forgive you if we don't come right back to the spot where you was at? I don't feel like it doesn't mean that they didn't, forgive you, because they let you back in. They gave you back access, but you got to understand something was done. They may not be reminding you anymore of what it is, but sometimes we have to be honest with ourselves. It's hard to get back to the original state of where you was before it happened.
You got to be a special person to take it back there.
Yeah, right.
And be able to keep it back into that place, because once you soil a sheet, the sheet is soiled.
Yeah.
It's like once you broke a heart, you broke a heart. It's already broken.
Yeah, so you could stitch, do all kind of stuff, but it happened.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where we want to leave everybody with, like, today. Forgive, go towards the direction of forgiving, but understand the levels of forgiving. Are you restoring? Does it mean reconciliation? What does it mean to you? But either way, where you walk, at least take that step to walk in that direction of forgiveness.
I would say for me, if I know I've done something wrong, like I've said before, it's going to be hard for me to even want to be around that person that I've hurt.
Yeah.
Because I know myself. So I'm constantly reminding myself, like, you did something. And in the back of my head, every time I interact with that person, it's like, but you did something to that person, right? Because that's how it goes with me. So maybe, in most of the times, reconciliation is not the best answer. It's forgive me, you forgive me, I love you, you love me, but this is where it stops.
Right.
Because I think I've soiled the sheet, I've soiled the relationship, I've soiled the friendship.
Yeah.
And I think it will be very difficult to get back there to that place where we were really, really good.
Yeah.
For me, I know that will be hard for something for me to do.
Yeah, some people.
Because I think I've ruined everything.
Yeah.
I've ruined our relationship, and sometimes I'm at the back of my head, I'm still thinking that person is still looking at me in that way.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to get back there.
I definitely understand. And for some, I feel like it could just mean that I'm able to talk to you again. Just talk to you again. I'm able to see you and you don't upset my spirit. Because when I didn't forgive you, I couldn't talk to you. Or every time I saw you, you upset my spirit. So to some people, that might be where their limitation of the forgiveness is. But yeah, how do you feel about this talk today about forgiveness?
Oh, of course, it's always interesting where we can actually, sit down and, because what I wanted to let the viewers know as well is that we sit and we conversate about what we're going to discuss next, what we want to talk about. And the main reason why we started the podcast is we know there's a lot of things missing and a lot of dialogues missing. So the topics we work on and we talk about is topics that we think would stir up conversations.
Yes.
Like get people to talk about it, whether it be in their house or their relationships with their children, on communication, on abuse, finding and recognizing certain things when it comes to, are you being abused, or, like now we're talking about, wanted to start season 2 of Two Chairs One Chat about forgiveness, and our next topic will go into talking about anger, and there's lots of other topic, but basically what we try to do is get the conversation started. So that's pretty much why we started the podcast, to
pretty much
open up and really have those hardcore conversations that a lot of people are not really talking about. It's really important. So I'm really glad to be back. Really glad to be doing this again. And much more to come, because we have a lot of other things to talk about.
Yes, a lot.
And
you have a lot of things to do.
What are we going to close off this episode?
Well, we can not close it off with here you go, without acknowledging, stuff that we also do outside of Two Chairs One Chat. Just a reminder, we are both authors. This is my first book, Pages of Potency, that is available right now on Amazon. You can get it paperback. You can get it ebook. And as for yours,
the scars I come with.
Yeah.
By Terry Cox. That's me. Available wherever books are sold. This book is my first ever writing I've ever done and published, and I continue to be proud of it. And so you can get it wherever, whenever,
That's
and
right.
however.
And you also have a second book.
I do. We both do have a second book.
Yes.
My second book, which I don't have on hand today, is The Child Within. That is a sequel. I'm working on the second half of that. I'm really proud of that second book as well. You can also find that on Amazon and wherever books are sold. And I'm on my personal page is I am Derry Cox. I also have a poetry page, which is Derry's Poetry's Lounge. Haven't been writing there for a minute, but I'll get back to that soon. And also my business page, which is Preuve. It's Preuve Skincare, and you can check that out on the website at PreuveSkincare.com or on IG at Preuve Skincare.
That's right. And I also have a second book as well that I do not have on me today. I apologize for that. But the title of that book is Visual Revelations, and that book is also available on Amazon, and is paperback and ebook, and it's also available anywhere books are sold. My Instagram handle is poetryizvisual, so that's poetry is visual. You can find me on there. Anything that I'm going to be doing, any work, any poetry, any upcoming stuff, that's where you can find it. And you can find us with anything that we're doing, Two Chairs One Chat related, at Two Chairs, that's One Chat. You can follow us on IG, and you can also email us. Our email is the same, twocharsonchat at gmail.com.
And also find us on YouTube. Yes. Don't forget to subscribe and share and comment and that good stuff.
That's right, because we really do want to see, as we're in season 2 now, for all of us we're in this together, right? So we want to see all of us participate, comment, have suggestions, anything, any kind of input, helps, right? Because we can all learn from each other.
Yeah, we want to know what you want us to talk about. How about that? So let us know what you want us to talk about. Wow. We have a list of topics that we already plan to talk about. We still want to hear from you and what you think that you would like to hear us talk about. We would be very appreciative if you get involved more on that. So,
Yes.
Until next time.
Who's chatting in the chairs?
We are.